Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Wednesday, April 30th. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about our progressive faith community and how you can be a part of it no matter where you live in the world. If you are in South Florida, check out the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts, offering entertainment for the LGBTQ+ community to benefit the LGBTQ+ community. Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There's no streaming TV show like this in the entire world. In 2025, we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots Magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight, with nearly 10,000 stories and 10 million views in 2024. We will produce the 25th anniversary of Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th, Pride Fete Diversity Pride in August, and Pride Fort Lauderdale next February. We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Social Security asks gay activists living with AIDS to repay $200,000 in benefits. Paul Aguilar, an AIDS activist in San Francisco, has received a letter from the Social Security Administration demanding that he repay about $200,000 in disability benefits. The gay 61-year-old Aguilar started receiving disability benefits in 2005 after he was diagnosed with AIDS. Since 2002, he has been the long-term survivor community liaison for aging services for San Francisco AIDS Foundation. And I'm quoting, "I have worked over the years, but faithfully reported my earnings as I was instructed, including being part of California's Working Disabled Program," end quote, he told the Bay Area Reporter. Under the California Working Disabled Program, people who meet the federal definition of disability and AIDS diagnosis qualifies, and whose net income is no more than 250% of the federal poverty level, can receive health coverage through Medi-Cal, California's version of Medicaid. The letter from the Social Security Administration was dated March 19th and said the payments should have stopped in 2013. And while this was the first time Social Security has suggested there had been overpayments, it gave only 30 days to repay the large sum, though a payment plan was offered if he couldn't pay the full amount. Again quoting, "I simply find it hard to believe that they could overlook an overpayment for 13 years, end quote, he told the Bay Area Reporter. He received no check from Social Security this month, and that creates a hardship for him. There has been deep concern over the access to Social Security information by Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency, which is planning to move the Social Security database to a different programming language, potentially compromising the system. Is this a one-off error? A targeted attack? Incompetence? Malevolence? Let's talk about it. D, all of the above. It is probably all of the above, who knows? But I think this is just another example of a very vulnerable group being targeted again.
Surprise.
It wasn't caught. Okay. If he was reporting all of his information and they say it should have stopped in 2013, which was 12 years ago, okay, something here just doesn't pass the sniff test for me. So.
Yeah, exactly. If he's just now hearing a dozen years into it, that's their error. So shame on you. You have to eat that. If this was being done with any sort of ethics and integrity,
right? Okay,
your mistake, you own it. Now going forward, you don't do it. But also, why, although this is the ideology that has won at least half of the last, 6, 8 elections, but why are we so afraid that somebody's going to get an extra meal?
Yeah, exactly.
Or some affordable medicine, or a year or two of college, or like we don't, anything that people could benefit. If you're a long-term survivor of AIDS, a roof over your head and nutritious food and rest and medication, those things are how you get to stay alive. Right. Why are we fighting over helping people be their best?
Right.
Why is that? Why does that torment us to think? I grew up with that madness. That in those days, like now you have a SNAP card. Of course, you have a little dignity. But in the old days, you had stamps, food stamps, and they were different colors. They looked different than money. They spent like money, but they looked different. So everyone knew that you were, using government aid to get your food or whatever. And people would just say, "Oh," and then Now, I heard this 1,000 times. I never once witnessed it for myself. And then they roll those groceries into a big, beautiful Cadillac. One, I never saw that.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be you made that shit up. And two, who cares? You don't know how they got it. That could be a borrowed car. That could be a 97-year-old Cadillac. They could have bought that Cadillac before their situation changed. I had a friend once who lost his job, and he had a nice big condo and a nice big Cadillac. He always wanted a Cadillac. That was it for him. That's what it meant to succeed. And he lost his job. And it was during one of those Republican recessions. And so he didn't know what he was, and he did get a job that paid a fraction of what his old one did. And so he sold his condo and kept his car. And he said, because if things get bad enough, I can live in the Cadillac, I can't drive the condo. So yeah, if he were using assistance, whatever, and putting his food into his, you don't know his story.
That's right.
Right.
You don't know his story. But we're so afraid that somebody's getting over on it. But I would rather 3, 4, 5, 6% of the recipients just be scamming and stealing us blind than this guy not getting what he needs.
Right.
See, so that's what I hate, is that we're so against people being okay. They should pull up by their bootstraps. They should do it on their own. No one does that.
No.
No one does that. No one does anything without help. Now, your help may have come from your rich family. Your help may have come from your huge-hearted grandma. Your help may have come from the local church where everybody knows everybody and they treat you like family. Your help may have come from the county government, the city government, the U.S. government. I don't know where your help came from, but everybody needs help. And not everyone's got a big-hearted grandma. And everybody's got a church where it's so small, everyone knows your name and they're going to pitch in and treat you like family. And not everyone has a rich family that can just throw money at you. The one way you can make sure everyone's taken care of is for our government to make sure that every citizen and legal resident has the basic needs met. And we call that socialism, and that's supposed to just end the conversation. If that's socialism, then count me in. Yeah. Where do I pay my dues? Because that's just being a good person. That's just wanting people to be. So I hate that, one, if they fucked it up, just swallow the 13 years that you gave him because it's on you. And second of all, why shouldn't he if he qualifies under the program, then why are you targeting, which is what it is, a gay male, long-term HIV survivor? Why aren't you trying to help him continue to be okay?
I think you answered those questions. It is really that clear that this is what's going on. There's someone out there who's been targeted because of who he is and what he's doing in order to help his community. That part we need to pay attention also. He is an advocate for his people.
Every day,
and
back.
Yeah, this reminds me of a couple of stories. People who have a lot of money will always say to you, you can be just like me if you're only as evil as me.
Right. Well, there's that.
Then the other part of it is great big pie. The rich person's got 3/4 of the pie, and he'll say to the poorest person out there, look at that, they're stealing your money. Meanwhile, they've stolen everything that they can steal, and they're going for more.
That immigrants want your piece of pie. That trans person wants your piece of pie.
And that immigrant who's picking your strawberries. Are you going to go out there and pick their strawberries? In Florida, we've come up with a solution. We're getting rid of all the child labor laws so that little junior can go out there and pick your strawberries. We got to pay attention.
And then be too exhausted to pay attention in school.
In school. And that's a whole, so many different stories. We're in trouble.
We're in trouble.
We need to get out there. We need to talk to our representatives. We need to tell them that this doesn't pass the stink test.
Yep, that's right.
And get out there and start doing your job.
You know, heart goes out to Paul, that's the whole situation. And what gets me is he admits, I did what I was supposed to do. I didn't hold anything back. I reported it as I should have. And under the state law, this is how I qualify. And if you missed it for 13 years, that's not his fault.
Right.
That is not his fault.
Right.
And I just hope that that somehow he is reinstated back to what he needs. I hope Governor Newsom gets involved if it needs to be. But this is one of those times I think we just have to remind ourselves, you got to look out for yourself.
Yeah.
Because no one else is going to. And if you have done what you're supposed to do, then you're entitled to what you're entitled to.
Yep.
And this is a long time AIDS survivor. You know, this is not someone who's just, there's nothing here that says he was trying to get over on the government.
Right.
I did what I was supposed to do. Now y'all fucked this up.
Reported it, gives back in community service.
Yeah.
I mean, a model person.
Yeah.
Really.
Like a lot of the immigrants who have been deported who are model citizens as well.
Yeah.
Documented.
And law-abiding
although
people.
that shouldn't.
Yep.
But in this case, it just need to be fixed. They're wrong. Just let it go.
Yep.
Let it go.
All right.
That's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, we want to invite you to join Sunshine Cathedral on a wonderful travel experience and help our mission for our community. Join us on the Florida AIDS Walk Pride Cruise. This unique 3-day cruise will sail from Miami on the $1 billion and ultra-deluxe 170,000-ton MSC Seascape on November 2nd, 2025. The cruise is for the Florida AIDS Walk. Your participation helps 13 vital beneficiaries in our community. The cruise is an incredible value starting at just $199 and is also a fundraiser for the Sunshine Cathedral. Parties, special events, and more aboard, including a special unlimited beverage and open bar with Wi-Fi for all 3 days for just $68. We invite you to join us on this amazing cruise for fun. This vital cruise for good.
I invite you to share this episode on your social media And I also welcome you to find Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram. You can also like our bishop pages on Facebook. My page is Bishop Darrell Watkins, D-Min. That's for Doctor of Ministry. And Robert's is Bishop Robert Griffin, D-Min. We're both on TikTok as well.
Thank you for joining Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBT community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church.
Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together.
Also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.